2025 NFL season predictions. NFC South. In the last place of the NFC South, I think the Saints will be in the last place. In third place, I reckon the Falcons will take third place in the NFC South. In second place of NFC South, I'd say the Panthers. Bryce Young has potential. He's not terrible, but he's not amazing either. And in first place, I have the Buccaneers coming in. I think the Buccaneers will just put on a great performance in 2025 and hopefully make the playoffs again. NFC West. In the last place, I think the Seahawks will come in last. They're a good team, but there's lots of good teams in the NFC West. In third place, I reckon the 49ers will take third. They didn't have a good season in 2024, and if I'm being honest, I don't reckon they'll have a good season in 2025. Second place, I think the Cardinals will take it. They're a good team, and they have lots of good players and young players on it, and yeah. And in first place, winning the division, I think the Los Angeles Rams will take it. They've got Cooper Kupp, pretty good. NFC North. In last place for the NFC North, I'm going to have to put the Chicago Bears. They've got Caleb Williams, but I just don't think any of the receivers, the defense will be good enough to place anywhere above fourth. In third place, I have the Vikings. I thought they were going to do pretty good, but in the playoffs, they just did not do well against Los Angeles. So I'm just going to put them at third. They have got Justin Jefferson and McCarthy, but I just don't think they'll be good. In second place in NFC North, I have the Green Bay Packers. They did pretty well to make it to the playoffs, and I just think they'll do well again next year. And I just think they'll do a good performance with Jordan Love and all those good players on the Packers. First place, I have Detroit Lions coming in at first. I think they'll have an amazing season like they did this year, and to just do a beautiful performance with their players. NFC East. In last place, not a very big surprise, I have Giants. Their team isn't good enough to make any big moves. And unless they get some pretty good draft picks, I don't see them going very well next year. In third place, I have the Cowboys. Even though they're in third place, I think they'll be very good next season. Even though they had a pretty stinky season this year, I think they'll surprise everybody with a pretty good season next year. In second place, I have the Commanders. They're just a pretty good team. They've got Jaden Daniels, and I think Jaden Daniels will be enough to carry them to another playoff appearance. And first place, I obviously have the Eagles. Since they've made it to the Super Bowl this year, I think they'll have a pretty good chance of making it to the playoffs at least next year. And let's go Eagles for the Super Bowl. AFC South. In last place in AFC South, I'm going to put the Titans. They're just not a good team, and like I said earlier, unless they get some pretty good draft picks, they just don't have potential to make it anywhere above fourth place. In third place, I have Colts. To be honest, I don't know much about the Colts, but I'm pretty sure they're a pretty mid team, so that's why I'm going to put them midway through the leaderboard on AFC South. In second place, I have Jaguars. I think once Trevor Lawrence gets better, they could have a pretty good season in 2025, especially with some good draft picks. In first place, I have the Texans. They made it to the second round in the playoffs. It's a shame they had the first Chiefs because I think they could have done pretty well in the playoffs. They have CJ Stroud to do pretty well for them next year, and I think they'll just have a pretty good season next year in the AFC South. AFC West. In last place, I bet you could probably guess this, we have Raiders. They're just not a good team. They need a pretty good draft pick to be make it even a chance of getting maybe second or more in the AFC West. So I think Raiders will be coming in last. In third place, I see the Broncos coming third. They have Bo Nix, but the two teams above them, I think, are just an inch better than the Broncos. In second, I have the Chargers. The Chargers are a pretty good team. They've got Justin Herbert and a few good wide receivers, and I think they'll do pretty well next year, but not well enough to beat the Chiefs. I don't like the Chiefs, and I don't want them to be number one. But that's just the honest truth. Chiefs will come number one, and yeah, because they have good players. You have to be honest. AFC East. In last place, I have the Patriots. They're a bad team, and without Tom Brady, they're just not good. And I do think they can do a little bit good with Drake May next season. But I do think that. But overall, I don't think they'll be better than any of the teams I have coming up above them next season. Sadly, in third place, I have my Dolphins. Dolphins are my favourite team, but I just don't think they'll be good enough without Tyreek Hill to make it above third. They've got a few good receivers and Odell Beckham Jr., but I just don't think they're going to be good enough to make it above third. In second, I have the Jets. I don't think they're going to do... they're going to do well next season, but I don't think they're going to do amazing since Aaron Rodgers are leaving them. But I do think they'll get a pretty good quarterback to help them through the season next year. And at the top, I have the Bills coming first. The Bills are good. They've got Josh Allen. They've got a good running back. I forgot his name. And I think their running will really help them through the season and get them the top of the leaderboard in AFC East. AFC North. In last place, I've got the Browns. It's not really much of an argument. The Browns are just bad. There's really not much else to say, and I don't think much can help them unless they get 3 good players. In third, I have the Steelers. They're a good team, but they're definitely not good enough to beat the 2 teams above them. But I do think they'll have a good season next season. In second, I have the Ravens. With Lamar Jackson and all those good players, Zay Flowers, I think they can do very well next season. But I've got a good team above them that I think will do very well next season. In first, I have the Bengals. The Bengals didn't even make it to the playoffs this year, but I think they'll definitely make it to the playoffs and more far than the playoffs. I think the Bengals have a great chance of Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, all those good players. So that's who I have at the top of AFC North.